Good afternoon, guys. Welcome into my kitchen. This is Sheila. I am going to share a wonderful recipe with you. This is a wonderful recipe for Sunday dinner, guys. I'm going to get right into the video. Guys, I have some green onions here you are going to need for the recipe. Some garlic. You're going to need a medium-sized onion for the recipe. Also, I have some sweet peppers over here we're going to use for the recipe. You're going to need some fresh beef, guys. Get some stewing beef, guys. Have them to cut the marketplace to cut it up fresh for you. And also, you are going to need some white potatoes for this recipe, guys. We are going to get right into the recipe. Guys, you are going to need a skillet for this recipe because we are going to brown our beef first. And then we are going to mix this beef stew together. And I'm going to share the recipe with you. We're going to get right into the recipe, guys. Okay, guys, now that we have our skillet getting hot, guys, we have our beef here. So we're just going to mix it up a little bit. I already seasoned it, guys. We're just going to add into our skillet, guys. And we're just going to brown that. We're just going to brown our beef for about 5 to 6 minutes on both sides. And then we are going to mix this recipe up together, guys. Okay, guys, we got our beef going. And it's browning, guys. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add a little olive oil onto our beef. So we're going to turn this beef, guys. Because all we want to do with our beef is just brown it. Okay, guys, while our beef is browning, we're going to add just a little beef broth. And this beef broth is going to give our beef some flavor, guys, okay? So what we're going to do is keep browning this beef, and then we're going to transfer our beef over into the pot. And then we are going to mix our beef stew together, guys. Now, guys, this step is optional. You do not have to brown your beef, but I like to brown my beef because I like it kind of like a brown. I like it brown. I like to brown it. And as you can see, that brown gravy is already making itself at the bottom, guys. So now we're going to transfer this recipe, guys, into our pot. And we're going to put this recipe together, okay? Okay, guys, now that we have browned our beef, I put some beef broth. Some people like to put a little chicken broth in this recipe, but I like beef, guys, okay? So then we are going to put a tablespoon of flour into this recipe. And then we're going to transfer this recipe into a bigger pot, guys. And I'm going to show you how I put this recipe together, guys. This is a wonderful Sunday recipe. This is a wonderful recipe for you to try on Sunday, guys, with your family. So as you can see, I browned my beef, guys. So that's the look that I like, guys. So we are going to get right into putting this recipe together. Okay guys, now that we have transferred our recipe into a bigger pot, we are going to add 2 cups of water, and then we are going to add our Trinity to this recipe, and we're going to let this recipe cook for about 30 minutes before we add our potatoes to our recipe, guys. See how brown my beef is, guys? You can see the season on that beef. We got some beef broth in this recipe, guys, and 1 tablespoon of flour, guys. Okay, guys, our recipe been cooking for about 30 minutes, and we're going to take the top off of it, and then we're going to add our Trinity to the recipe, guys. As you can see, we have our beef and our gravy cooking up. So what we're going to do is add our green onions. We're going to add some garlic to this recipe. We're going to add some sweet peppers. I got some peppers here, guys. Just a handful I'm going to add to the recipe. And we are going to add a lot of onions to our recipe, guys. And we're going to let this recipe cook for another 20 to 25 minutes. And then we are going to add our potatoes to our recipe, guys. We're going to let this recipe cook for about 20 minutes. We have our beef, we have our onions, we have green onions, we have some sweet peppers in this recipe. We have some regular hot peppers I put in there. We have garlic in this recipe and a medium onion in our recipe, guys. And we're just going to let this cook for about 20 to 25 minutes with the top on, and then we're going to add the white potatoes, guys. Okay, guys, now that we have let our recipe cook for about 20 to 25 minutes on low heat, guys, we're going to give it a stir. We got our beef broth. We have our beef stewing meat in this recipe, guys. We have onions, garlic, green onions. We have some sweet peppers in this recipe. And we have some peppers in the recipe. So now that we have cooked our recipe for about 20 to 25 minutes, we're going to add some white potatoes to this recipe. And our recipe is almost done. We're going to cook some rice, guys, and then I am going to come back and let you see how our recipe came out. So we're going to add our white potatoes to the recipe, guys. And we are going to let our recipe cook for another 20 minutes until our potatoes are done. Now, guys, if you would like, you could add some carrots to this recipe. I am going to see, do I have some carrots in my cabinet, and I might add a few carrots to our recipe. And then we are going to cook us some basmati rice, and our dinner is done. Okay, guys, this is the last step to our recipe. We have some white potatoes in our recipe. We have all our Trinity in our recipe. I have some peppers in the recipe. We have garlic. We have a white medium onion in our recipe, and all our season in our recipe, guys. So we are going to add a half of can of carrots in this recipe, guys. You can use fresh carrots, you can use frozen carrots, whatever kind of carrot you want to use in the recipe. So what I have here is I have a half a can of carrots that I decided to add to our beef stew, guys. So we're just going to add them carrots in the recipe, and we're going to let this recipe cook down for about 20 minutes, guys. And then our potatoes will be done, and we're going to serve this recipe over basmati rice. And we're just going to let this cook down, guys, for about 20 minutes. And then I am going to come back and I am going to show you my presentation of my beef stew, guys. I hope you enjoyed the recipe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Good afternoon, guys. I'm cooking up me some beef stew, guys. I have some potatoes in this recipe. I got some carrots. I got some peppers in my recipe, guys. I have some beef stewing meat. I have season in this recipe. This is homemade gravy, guys. Look at here, guys. For a recipe, it'll be on YouTube. Sheila D, guys. I'll see you on the next video.